Today is Q&A with a marketing strategist with me. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. And usually I am sharing on some sort of online marketing topic, right? Everything from how to build a personal brand, content creation, lead generation, sales systems, funnels, videos, content repurposing, all of the things, everything and anything that you can think of. Today, what I thought is, why don't I kind of open this up to Q&A? And I actually do have some questions that came in because I also sent an email out to everyone. And I said, drop me a question and I'm happy to respond back. Really, the point of this is to help you get unstuck. And even though I'm here, I'm taking time to do this, I'm investing my time to do this. And we only ask for you to invest your time because these are free, like mini coaching calls. We really are here to support you. Okay. So let's dive into some of these questions. The very first one, and this is a really, really good one because I think a lot of you are posting, right? You're cranking out content every day, most of you, but you're creating it from scratch. So the question is, what's the fastest way to turn the content I already have into clients without creating from scratch every day? So here's what I want you to know. Content does not equal sales, okay? But what we want to do with our content, we want to spend less time creating content because we want content to create an experience for our audience, specifically our ideal clients that are more likely to be in the market right now to work with us, which, by the way, on average, that's only about 2 to 3% of people are in the market right now to buy from you. Okay, so let's do some numbers here. So if you have 2,000 people that you are connected with on your Facebook profile, for example, okay, 2% of those people equals 40 people. However, here's the other thing I want to say. At any given time, when you post content on social media, especially if you're not doing some of the things that, and I'll get to them because it'll fall into one of these other questions, some of the things that you should be doing, some activities that you should be doing on social media outside of actually posting content, because you don't want to just be a content dumper. But if you're just posting content, okay, you're maybe doing that once every other day, or even if you're doing it once a day, but you're not really engaging and you're not activating your audience from that content. Only about 3% of your audience sees your content at any given time. And actually, I've heard between 1 to 3%. So I'm giving you like the high end of this. So let's say you have 2,000 people that follow you or are friends with you, connected with you on your personal profile. Okay. That's about 60 people at any given time are going to see one of your posts. Now, out of those 60 people, only about 2% of them are ready to buy from you. Guess how many people that is? That's 1.2. So let's just say that's one person. Okay. So some of you are like so frustrated because nobody's buying from you, or you're not moving people from your content to create conversations to a place where they will buy from you. But I want you to be realistic about numbers too. Okay. So you see how there is a numbers game in here. So back to the original question, what's the fastest way to turn the content I already have into clients from scratch every single day? The fastest way is to use video and multi-repurpose that video into other types of formats. Everything from email campaigns to blog posts, LinkedIn articles, to short video clips, right? So shorts, reels, that sort of thing. Okay. You can even take the transcription of that video and then pull little text pieces of that out and write a carousel post out of it. So the idea is that with content, you are creating this kind of like, one of my mentors that I'm actually in one of her programs, she calls it a conveyor belt. Okay. You're basically creating with content, you are creating a conveyor belt of pieces of content that are allowing your audience to, like, you know, this is cyclical, to constantly be seeing your content, but they're getting to know, like, and trust you the more content that they consume. Okay. So if you can take one piece of content, like a long form video, specifically like a live video, which is one of the strategies that we teach. And aside from my personal connection connections and reaching out to people personally. It is the reason why my business has grown into a multiple six-figure business over the last several years, over and over and over again, every single year. Okay. And that is from doing this strategy, from going live once a week, same day of the week, same time, and then repurposing that live into multiple forms of content. This is now what we get hired as an agency to do for people that you've probably followed. We are like the behind the scenes brains behind a lot of people, as well as corporate brands. But this is one of the things that we get hired to do, is to create this ecosystem, this marketing ecosystem. And it all starts from one live video, long form video. Okay. So that to me would be the fastest way to turn the content that you already have into getting people closer to a point of becoming a customer or client, so that you don't have to start content from scratch every single day. Now, with that said, you can also use that content. Like, I can use this live video and I can create a guide out of my live video that is giving you like all of the tips that I'm sharing right now into a guide. And that can be something that can generate leads for me by simply saying, hey, I just created a guide that answers the top 5 questions that I get asked all the time, and the strategy and how to of what to do next. Who wants it? Every single person that asks or that says, I want that guide, I'm going to be reaching out to them personally, and I'm going to start a conversation with them in DMs or wherever that is. Maybe it's through email, maybe it's through SMS, maybe it's even over the phone. Yes, I actually do make phone calls. And then from that point, I'm going to then move them into a conversation that's about, hey, so I'm curious because you asked for this guide. Is there anything specific that you have a question on that you're stuck with as it relates to your marketing? And once they respond to me, I'm going to obviously respond to them. Okay, great. You know what? I have a couple ideas for you. So one of the things that I would do immediately is this. Now, the other thing is, do you want to know more how we can support you to actually do that? And many times people are like, yeah, right. And then from there, I take that into a sales conversation. So that's how you can use your actual content and move people into a place of actually becoming a potential customer and client to the point of saying yes or no. Okay. The next question is, how do I know which visibility activities actually make money and which are just keeping me busy? Okay, I love this question. A visibility activity that is just keeping you busy is scrolling through the news feed all freaking day and engaging with people just because you found something that you like. And when I say engage, I mean like watching someone's video, commenting on it. That's all engagement. Right? Loving, liking it. That is a huge waste of time. Another waste of time is spending more than 10 minutes creating one post. Okay. And there are so many tools now that allow you to create content so quickly. But if you follow my repurposing system, it shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes to create one post. Because in the past, we used to do this whole repurposing system more manually. However, we did use AI still. So, AI before like what the masses know of AI now is like open AI with ChatGPT. Before that, there were tons of other AI tools. But one thing that we always did way before ChatGPT is that we would take a video and get it transcribed through something like otter.ai, which is an AI tool that's been around like so many years, way before ChatGPT. But then from there, we would manually go through that transcript and pull pieces out to like, grab a sentence or two to put inside or on top of a B-roll or on top of Canva image, or, to make a carousel post out of a bunch of tips that I share in a video, right? So we would do all of that manually. Now it's so much faster to create content or to repurpose content from one piece of content that you literally could create a carousel post, for example, in a matter of like 10 seconds. At least have the text for it. And if you build templates or if you just open up Canva, and nothing needs to be fancy anymore. People do not want overly produced and branded things anymore. It's just the way that the market has shifted. And we need to start remembering that and shift the way the market's shifted also, right? So you could literally take a sentence or every sentence from a live video, like the portion that you're giving tips or insights. And then each one of those tips, you grab the sentence for each of those tips and they're a slide for each of your carousel posts. But you could do that in seconds because you just need to literally give something like ChatGPT or another content writing tool your script and say, from this script or from this transcript, can you please create a carousel post that is 7 slides long that starts with the first slide, it being a hook, the last slide with a call to action, and the slides in between, the tips and insights that I share. That is it. That is the prompt, by the way. Okay. If you're spending a tremendous amount of time, I'm telling you, like more than 10 minutes creating one piece of content. Now, if it's a live video, that's different because live video and the way that I teach it should be about 15 minutes long. But I'm talking about a text post where it's just writing or something with an image. If it's taking you more than 10 minutes to create that, that is a waste of time. If you are posting content that does not resonate with your ideal clients and you're just posting just to post because you were told that you should post 10 times a day, whatever it is, that is a waste of time. Okay. So those are not revenue generating activities. However, content is still very important. And that's why mastering and understanding how to create content in a way that's resonant and that activates your audience is so important, because if not, it's just a waste of time. Your content needs to move people to the next step. And if it's not doing that, then it's a waste of time. All right. I know because I'm also a business owner, right? And I run a team. And honestly, I have 3 different brands. Our main one is Hype Media, our agency, but I know what it feels like to feel stretched, right? So the visibility or the activities, and they are visibility activities that I would focus on if I needed to generate, like have a cash injection right now, would be, first thing is, and this is something that we already do and I do on a daily basis, is I would be consistently reaching out to people in DMs or through email, like one-on-one. I would have a warm list of a target audience that I've talked to before, but hasn't actually become a client or customer, or maybe they were a customer in the past, but I have something new. And I would be cycling through and tracking these conversations and making sure that every 10 days I'm going back to this list and I'm hitting a new however many people, right? So the fastest path to a cash injection is actually making offers. But what most entrepreneurs are doing online is they're spending way too much time creating content that it's not even like hitting people, right? It's not activating them. And that is your focus. So for the person that asked me, how do I know which visibility activities actually make money and which are just keeping me busy? The ones that aren't making you money are just keeping you busy. Okay. So I would audit my visibility. Where am I spending more time? If I'm spending more time on content creation and less time on making offers, I would do like a gut check on that. And if I'm not hitting my revenue goal for the month, I would flip the switch. Okay. I would make sure that I am hyper focused on making connections, on following up with people. And that can be done with DMs, phone calls, emails, text messages, all of them maybe. Sometimes we use all of them because remember, people are using different platforms at different times. So you may send them a DM on Facebook, but maybe they haven't been on Facebook for like a week, but then you can catch them over on LinkedIn, right? I would also spend more time on collaborations. And I would also spend more time on actual connecting with people and being in proximity with people, both online and in person. So if I needed a cash injection in my business, like right now, those are the things that I would be focusing on collaborations, making offers directly to people that have raised their hand in other places, right? Maybe on my content, maybe they've opted in for something for free. It's time to follow up with them. Don't keep them hanging. If somebody said yes to something at some point, whether it's a consultation with you, whether it's more information on something, whether it's they opted into a lead magnet or a freebie, or they got a sample or something like that, those are people on your warm list that need to constantly be talked to and connected with, right? If they say now's not the right time, that's not a no. That means I hope you're tracking when they said that to you so that you can let them know, great, you know what? Would it be okay if I follow up with you in the next month or so and see how things are then, right? So those are CEO tasks. But depending on your content to make sales for you is going to get you 0 sales. As a content creator, I'm just telling you that. All right. Okay. The next one. What should I post if I need clients this week, not 6 months from now? This is where my activation content comes into play. Like 100%. Urgency is going to be the most practical thing for you during this time. Okay. And so when I talk about activation content, and I actually did a training on this before, we have a guide to it. If you want it, drop the word activation and I'll get that to you. But an activation content it's a little story driven together with calling out a pain point or a struggle and then a prompt that literally prompts your audience to raise their virtual hand so that then you can follow up in a DM conversation or phone call or text message or email or however that works. For me personally, and for a lot of our clients, doing this to activate your audience on your social media profile, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, and then following through in a DM has been the fastest way to a cash injection to make a sale from an activation post. An activation post can look like different forms, okay? So one of my favorite ones to do, which is honestly the easiest, but I do mix it up because you can use the same activation post and then just recreate it in different ways. But the very first one that I would do if I were you to test out some language is something that would be like just about 1 to 2 sentences long. It's super to the point, and it can say something to the effect of, if I were to show you how to plan out your entire next year so that you know exactly what to do, when to do it for your specific offers and services every single month so that you hit your revenue goals, would you like to know? That's it. It's something as simple as that, right? Oh my gosh, I just helped a client to create blank or to do blank, and it literally took us an hour phone call. Do you want to know how I did it? Right? So you guys get kind of the idea. That is a straightforward activation post. Some people call these hand raiser posts. Some people call these 2-step posts because the first step is you post this and somebody comments. Okay. So it's really their comment. That's the step. The second step is you send them a DM and you start to have a conversation. All right. So that would be the kind of post that I would be doing like right now. Activation posts. The second type of post that I would be putting out right now is what I call proof of work content. Okay. And this I learned from one of my business coaches a few years back. Proof of work content. That includes case studies, testimonials, before and afters, that type of content. It can be storytelling. You don't have to mention your client's name. Okay. But sharing proof of work. You can also do that by like doing behind the scenes kind of shots or videos. You can record a short video of you doing something and showing like your work and how things work, right? So that would be another type of content that I would be putting out there if I need clients like this week. And then the third type of content, which I don't think many people think of this as content, but it's making offers, like getting into the DMs and making offers. That is content. Okay. All right. Number 4 is, how do I make sales in the DMs without spending all day chatting or sounding pushy? Good one. And this is actually one that a lot of people have issues with, and why most of you don't use DMs. So I have what I call my DM to yes method. It's something that we teach inside of our program, and we try to help our clients really master this because it can literally make a difference like in 24 hours. I'm going to give you a perfect example. So I created for a client her very own client attraction DM to yes method strategy. It was very specifically tailored to her, like specifically for her specific offer that she had at the time. She was having an in-person event, $3,000 to be a part of this event for the weekend. And she was doing everything. She was posting about it. She was sending out emails. She sent out DMs. She did send out DMs, but she didn't follow exactly the strategy, right? She changed the wording because she felt a certain way and her mindset got in the way, and nothing happened. She didn't get any sales until her and I got on a call, and I said, walk me through everything that you did. And then I figured out what she wasn't doing. So here's what I encourage you is follow it to the T. Okay. So I'm going to give you kind of a little snippet of how this works. All right. So I want you to remember that people want human. They don't want scripts. Okay. And they want to feel like you hear them, like you are walking the talk, like you have been in their place. All right. And so that's why DMs work so well, especially if you do it with voice notes. So I do this a lot of times on our calls, on any of our calls inside of our programs. I may take like remote access of your laptop so that I can myself send a message as you to somebody. Okay. That's how hands-on it is when you are inside of our support calls. But basically what we did is we sat together on a call and I said, okay, give me 5 people right now that I can message, because what she did was she did an activation post, but she skipped some steps. She had tons of people that commented on this activation post about her event, wanting to know more about her event. But here's what she did. rather than, and here's the steps you want to follow. You do the activation post. Everyone that comments, you respond to their comment. She did not respond to their comment. You want to respond to their comment by saying something like, hey, Arlie, awesome. I'm going to send you a personal message about it. By the way, if you don't see it in your inbox, can you please check your message requests folder? Now, this is specific to Facebook, okay? You may not say all of that. The part of, if you don't see it in your inbox, can you check blank, right? If you're doing this on LinkedIn. On Instagram too, you just want to let them know, I'm going to send you a DM, okay? So that's step one. Make sure to respond to every single person that comments on your activation post. Why? Because you want to give them a heads up that you're going to send them a DM. That's number one. Number two, the more comments and back and forth banter on that post, the more people that the platform is going to show that post to. Okay. Next thing, you want to send them a DM and you want to say something to the effect of, hey, Arlie, thanks so much for your comment. Or, hey, I'm just circling back around to you. I know that you commented on my post about blank. Remind them what they commented on the post about, what the post was about, right? I'm curious because I want to make sure that this is the right fit for you. Is there something specific about my post that caught your attention? Or you could say, is there something around, and then use the topic that the post was about, right? That the activation post was about. Is there something around blank that you're dealing with right now that caused you to want to know more, right? So the idea is to start with an open-ended question so that they actually respond back to you and you can gain some more insights as to why they commented on your post and why is it that they are curious or want access to something or they want something that you were offering, okay? But what she did instead, my client, she skipped that part. She sent them a DM, but she just said, hey, here's the information about blank. No. See, right there, you're not creating a relationship. There's like no resonance and you're sounding like every other person out there on social media. So that is how you move clients or, people that are raising their hand and you move them into a DM. So let's say they said, yeah, well, you know what? I'm stuck on creating video, right? So that's what really caught my attention. Oh my gosh, you know what? So here's what I'm going to do. I will send you my video creator prompt, but I'm also going to send you something that I think would be even more helpful because it's not just about creating video. It's about what you do with that video to actually get clients. And then I may send them a video walkthrough of one of our programs, or I may send, let her know of something that we have coming up soon. Hey, this may interest you. It's only literally $6 a day to be a part of this. And not only do we help you create your videos, but we show you systems to attract your ideal clients from videos. And then we help you co-create a sales system to actually convert them from your videos, right? So that's where it stays hyper-focused. You're not chatty all day. There's a reason why you're there. And the reason is to offer them support. And then it's on them whether or not they want to accept that support. But many of you rather spend an hour creating one post, scrolling through a whole bunch of content on social media to find inspiration, rather than utilizing hyper-focused time to actually have conversations, productive conversations in DMs. And the way that I just shared it with you would not be chatty and it would not sound super pushy, right? They asked for something. I want to diagnose like why they asked and what their situation is. And then, hey, there may be something better for you. Like if you really want to move faster with this, here's how you can do it. And you don't have to do it on your own. Okay. All right. The fifth question, what's one shift I can make in my marketing this quarter that would actually increase my income? Okay. So this honestly is like my entire philosophy, right? So the biggest shift isn't more content. It's smarter content, aligned messaging, visibility, and a visibility and conversion strategy that you are following every single day in your business. And without the strategy and the plan to implement that strategy, nothing is going to happen. And you're just going to be in the same spot that you were last quarter, right? What we do now is actually going to come into fruition within the next 60 to 90 days. But what happens with a lot of us is we wait around. We're thinking, you know what? I'm going to wait till January to get on my January, to figure January out. That means that actually what you do in January is not going to actually evolve into something substantial, maybe little things here or there, but it won't really evolve into something substantial until probably March or April. Are you willing to wait another quarter? Right? So right now, the shift to make is to start getting hyper focused and strategic and to follow revenue activities in your business and stop wasting time on shit that doesn't work and that doesn't matter. Okay. Like trendy reels, trending sounds. I mean, all of that bullshit. So much AI. And I love AI. Okay. I actually have some fun AI stuff coming out soon. I love it. But am I going to let that consume my day versus doing the things that I need to do as a CEO, which is marketing, lead generation, and sales? No. So if you don't have your day organized to where you have an hour of your day that is very like hyper focused on these CEO activities, I would highly encourage you to do another gut check, audit yourself, audit your time management, and start planning an hour a day for you to hyper focus yourself on making offers, connecting with people, asking for referrals. That's really the main thing. I mean, it's connection, making offers, asking for referrals, and tracking conversations that you're having and making sure that you're going back to follow up with people. All right. And this is exactly like what we do in the entire strategy that we teach and that we implement for our Done For You clients. And we also help our Ignite Your Influence program clients. We co-create these strategies with you. So you're not doing it alone and you actually fast track and you get results. I hope that this was helpful for those of you that maybe have similar questions to this. And again, if you have any questions and you're watching on the replay and you're like, I would love to know from a marketing strategist, what is your viewpoint on this? Or how can I do this? Or, hey, this is happening in my business right now and I know this isn't working. What else can I do to make it work? That was what this call was for. So feel free to drop those questions below if you're watching this on the replay. And yeah, and if you have any questions, let me know. And remember, stay social. All right. Bye, guys.